Soul to soul, feel the rhythm flow. Heart wide open, let your spirit glow. With Artie Hoffman, now you know. Soul to soul, let's go.
Welcome to Soul with my good friend Artie
Oh,
Hoffman.
stop
Stop it.
You're
So,
amazing.
Artie,
I know. I do know.
psychic, medium, comedian,
Hell of a guy.
life coach, and an author as well. So let's talk about that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm beside myself. You know how much that could hurt.
So we have your 2 books that are published, available on Amazon.
Yes.
I know the first one that you wrote is Angels and Answers.
That's true.
And then the second, Have Your Angels Call
Oh,
My
my
Angels.
angels.
Love that. Let's talk a little bit about both these books. So you started with Angels and Answers. What prompted you to write this, and what can our readers, or rather our listeners, learn from this particular book?
Well, I just want to say when I first, I had no, like being a psychic, I had no intention of being a psychic, and I really didn't have an intention on writing books. It would be like a fun thought, like, oh yeah, I should write a book. How many people haven't said that? I should write a book. But what happened was I was getting so many consistent questions from my clients asking about life.
Okay.
And I would ask them, they would ask me, you know, about God, about angels, about relationships, about that. And it was so consistent. It's not like it was all random. And I said, I should write a book because this is hot topics, on the certain chapters that I wrote about. And it's about your relationship with yourself.
Okay.
How, to self-respect, self-love. Another, when you have self-respect, self-love, that has a reflection on you and your children, on you and your lover, on you and your friends, on you and your coworkers. So, and I discuss how to build up your self-esteem in very simplistic ways because I sucked at school. So I write everything very simplistically. I
Okay.
talk about very deep subjects about God, about spirituality, about relationships, and why do good things happen to bad people? Why do bad things happen to good people? And I also have I have a quite interesting story in it. It was probably the single most spiritual experience of my life.
Oh, tell us about it.
Do you want me to tell you? Even though it's in the
Please,
book? All right.
please do.
This is an amazing story. And when I talk about it, I'm still overwhelmed on it. And just so you know, the name of the chapter is called It's Me, Mom.
Okay.
That's the name of it. It's called It's Me, Mom. So anyway, there was a time in my life where I kept on hearing about this place, Lake George.
Okay.
All right, Lake George, New York. And, I'd be talking to my clients. They're mentioning, oh, yeah, we're going to Lake George. I hear on the radio advertisement about Lake George. I hear other friends talking about Lake. I said, never consistently have I ever heard this much of Lake George in my life. I've heard it throughout my life, but like within the matter of a couple of weeks, I've heard it like about 7 times. I said, you know what? Maybe I should go to Lake George. And then they were advertising, oh, there's a balloon festival in Lake George. I said, oh, that would be fun. So I called up a bunch of friends and I called up my friend Dawn. I said, hey, and my friends wouldn't go. So my other friends wouldn't go. So I called up Dawn. I said, hey, Dawn, you want to go to Lake George with me for a balloon festival? And she goes, yeah, why not? She goes, when do you want to go? So I said, let's go this Saturday. She goes, yeah, but I have a bike-a-thon to do next Sunday, to help raise money for cancer. I says, all right, we'll be back on time. I just want to go there. We'll leave early in the morning and we'll come back super late at night. How's that? She goes, great, I'll go. So we go and we don't get a chance to hang out that much. So anyway, we're driving up, I think it's the New York Thruway. So whether it be Route 87 or Route 84, whatever it is. And all of a sudden we look over to the right and Dawn goes, oh my God, Art, look at those beams of light shining from the clouds right onto the ground. It was like solid. It wasn't like just, it was light out. It was beams of light. And she goes, she goes, Artie, you should pull over. I should probably take a picture. I says, all right, I pulled over, and she just took a snapshot of one cloud of the beams of light. She took one shot, and I said, you're going to see angels in that picture. She goes, really? I go,
Wow.
yeah, you're going to see angels in that picture. And so we had the picture blown up later on, the days later. We had it blown up, and there was a bunch of angels in the picture.
That's
And there was a
crazy.
picture of Archangel Michael attacking a serpent
What?
with a little baby in its mouth. And there was another little baby on the side watching it. And I'm going to show you. Like it was just
Oh, you have the
absolute-
actual photograph in the book?
Yes, of course. We took the picture of it. And there you go, from that one picture.
Oh my God. I don't know if you guys can.
You can't see
You
it. You'd
can't
have
really
to
see
zoom
it.
in to see it. But
Yeah, but it's page 59.
it's page
and
59 in the
Angels
book.
and Answers. Yeah. Wow.
From one picture of a stream of lights from the clouds, a picture. Can you see Archangel Michael? And look at this. You have the little baby here looking at Archangel Michael. The little baby here, when you look at it in detail, and the serpent's mouth right here. And then there's angels right here. And there's an angel right here.
That's
All
amazing.
just from one shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So you intuitively sort of knew that would show
So
up
anyway,
on the
she was
photograph.
telling me, just even though there's no such thing as a coincidence, and
Really? There's no such thing as
there's no
coincidence?
such thing. Everything is meant to be. See, people who are spiritual, they don't say it's a coincidence. They call it divine timing.
Okay.
People who doesn't understand spirituality, they call it a coincidence. So anyway, she told me, she goes, today's my daughter's birthday. And her daughter passed away years ago from Down syndrome.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And she goes, and today's her birthday. I says, oh, this makes it even more special. So we're going up to Lake George, and we took the picture, and we're driving up and to go to the airport. We're going up to the airport, the mini airport near Lake George, because that's where they're having the balloon festival. So we go there, and there's like nobody there, because we got there early in the morning, and there's nobody there. But there were like some kiosks, selling paraphernalia stuff, all bunch of cool stuff you don't need,
Right.
but you want to have. And so we're walking around the grounds a little bit, and the guy says, yeah, he says the balloons, he said they didn't go off today, early this morning, because of the weather. So he said, she said, come back. The person there at the place says, come back tonight. They're going to have the whatchamacallit. They're going to have the balloon festival go off, after 5 o'clock. So Dawn and I says, all right, we'll just come back after 5. And I said, let's go to Lake George itself. We'll hang out there. And, so it was like really cool. So anyway, so we take a drive to Lake George from where the airport was. And right before, we're on a main road, and we're about to go down this dirt path of a road that leads to Lake George itself. And right to my left, I look over and I see OTB, off-track betting.
What does that mean?
Off-track betting is where people could go to bet on horses.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what
Off-track
that
betting.
was.
So you could bet on it's simulcast. So you could look at 5 or 6 different races going on across the country, according to whatever
Okay.
they show. So they have off-track betting. So you could bet on horses on, like I said, there's 5 or 6 different tracks that they film, and then you don't have to be at the track to bet. You go to this one building called OTB. So here I am. I'm advertising for OTB now, off-track betting. If you want to make a bet, and you can't go to the tracks.
That's right.
So anyway,
Soul to soul with Artie.
soul to soul with Artie. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So anyway, I said to her right before we went down that little road, I said, how much you want to bet there's going to be a horse with the name that's in pertaining to your daughter?
Come on. Yeah. And what happened?
With your daughter's, her daughter's name was Brittany.
Okay.
All right. And I said, it's something with your daughter or something, but I feel there's going to be a horse with the name pertaining to your daughter. And I go, do you want to go in there and we'll check it out, or you want to just go to Lake? She goes, no, we could go to OTB, because she was never at OTB and she didn't even know what it was. So anyway, we go into the building, and now mind you, when you walk in there, there's about 5 different places with 5 or 6 different places where they have the programs, that is set up on the table. So
Right.
you pick what track you want, and you pick out the paper, and it lists all the horses' names to all the races. So anyway, I pick out one, and I'm going, I'm looking for a name that sparks daughter or anything that represents Brittany or something. And so all of a sudden, daughter Dawn's on the other side, and she's looking at a program, and she walks over very innocently. She's scratching her head, and she goes, Art, she goes, do you think this is the horse maybe? I said, are you freaking kidding me? The name of the horse is called It's Me, Mom.
Oh my God.
That's the name of the
Okay.
horse.
Okay,
That's
chills.
the name of the horse. It's Me, Mom.
That's insane.
And I said, are you kidding me? I said, that's your daughter. The horse is going to win. We're going to win money. I said, I was so excited. And she goes, really? Really? And so we go there. So anyway, we go up to the booth, and I'm telling the guy, I says, you got to bet on this horse. The guy who takes the money.
Right.
I said, this horse is going to win. I said, mark my words. And I'm telling everybody who's waiting online, I said, if you want to win money, bet on It's Me, Mom. It's going to win. And Dawn's going, you're crazy. You're crazy. What are you not? Shut up. What are you doing? She's laughing, with me and all that. And so all of a sudden, and then there was another horse that's called Angels from Heaven. It's like, oh, shoot, I got to bet on that one too. And then there's a horse called Hot Air. I said, we're at a balloon festival. I said, I'm running out of money, and I want some bullshit money so I could buy stuff,
Right.
being at Lake George and for
Right.
food and whatever.
Right.
I only brought so much money with me, a couple $100 or whatnot. So I would have bet a lot more money on the horse had I have had more money, but who knew?
Well,
Who knew?
Maybe you should have asked the psychic about that.
Right. So this is really cool. So anyway, the guy goes, well, I said, what time do the races go off? He goes, well, that's a little problem. I go, what? He goes, It's Me, Mom doesn't race until 7:00 tonight.
Oh.
And we close at 5. I go, really? And he goes, the other horses race earlier. And he goes, but the other guy next to him said, yeah, but there's another OTB in the next town over. They don't close till 10. I said, then that's where we'll go afterwards. And we're all excited. So we go to Lake George, and we're enjoying Lake George, and the festivities and the music and the people. It's really cool. So then we go to the balloon festival. Now we get to the balloon festival, and the place is packed, jam-packed. You would think that Michael Jackson was performing there. There were so many cars, and all the grounds were filled with blankets. It's like people watching the July 4th fireworks and stuff. And it's like blankets everywhere, people everywhere. And we had to park so far. Like when we first got there that morning, we parked right in front, no problem. But now we had to park like a quarter mile away because there were so many people there to see all the balloons go off. So we get there, and it was a little cold outside, a little breezy and a little cold. And it turns out that the balloons didn't go off. They announced that the balloons aren't going off because the weather isn't permitting it. But what was really nice is that the people who owned the 3 balloons, they allowed them to blow it up without taking off. And they blew it up so everyone could see. I mean, it's massive. This
they are.
huge balloon right in front of you. Like, whoa, it was a big deal. So while we're hanging out, we're having our hot chocolate. Okay. I believe it's in the fall time when we went there. And there's a family only maybe 10 yards away from us. And it was a young couple with 2 Down syndrome children.
Oh my goodness.
And she goes, Art, that's another sign. She goes, that's my daughter. She's like right there. And the kids were playing, and they were happy, and the parents were happy, and they were all playing with you. They were the cutest family you've ever seen. And it's like you wanted to go over there and play with them.
Aw.
And it was so sweet. And of all the places where they could launch their blanket for thousands of people
It
that
was
were there.
next to you
They were
guys.
right next to us, Down syndrome. And here it is with the Angels. It's Me, Mom.
Right.
And these kids. And I said, wow.
Not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence. So anyway, now time is going on. And it's starting to get a little dark. He says, all right. I said, let's go to OTB and see. I said, it's getting close to the 7 o'clock. I said, let's go there. I said, I don't want to miss the race. She goes, all right. So we go back. So we go to the other OTB and we get there and we're all excited. We're all excited going there. And so while we're driving to OTB, I'm acting like I'm in the mafia. And I said to her, and she's playing off of me really well. And so while I'm driving, I said, excuse me, sir. I said, we have to take a ride to New Jersey. I said, here's my ticket for It's Me. I said, just give me my money now so I don't have to wait. I says, I don't want to wait anymore. I says, I got to get back to Jersey. Just pay me my money. We know the horse is going to win. And so Dawn goes like this. She goes, let me ask you a question. Do you want to live or do you want to die? Now give us our freaking money now, So we're laughing while acting like Brooklyn people from the mafia.
Right.
So all of a sudden, I go up to the ticket booth to see how the other two horses do. Angels from Heaven did nothing. It didn't win. It did nothing.
Okay.
So then all of a sudden I give him the other ticket and he pops back the ticket and he gives me my $20 back. And I said, why are you giving me my money? Well, either you win or you lose. Like, why? He goes, the horse was scratched, which means it didn't go off.
Right.
And she goes, Artie, that's a hot air balloon. She goes, the balloons didn't go off and hot air is scratched. She goes, Art, that's another sign. I said, wow, this is really crazy. I said, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. And so now it's getting close to post time for the race to go off.
Right.
And Dawn's getting all excited. And she goes, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I said, Dawn, this is so exciting. I said, watch. I said, I'm telling you, It's Me, Mom, is going to cross the finish line and there's not going to be any horse. I see it going by all by itself. I said, I'm telling you, It's Me, Mom, is going to win. I know it. I know it. And so she goes, I'm so nervous. She goes, I have to go outside and have a cigarette. She goes, I'm so nervous. So anyway, she goes outside. She has a cigarette. And then she comes back in and she's all excited. And now, mind you, there's 12 horses racing.
Right.
And now picture this. All right. The racetrack normally goes all the way around.
Mhm.
Okay. All the way around. All right. But this was a short race. It started here. It started here at this part of the track and it was only going to here. That was it. It wasn't like a full track race. It was only a short race. So It's Me, Mom was number 10 out of 12. So it's way out there. So it really has to be, hopefully it had its Wheaties that morning because it's number 10 on the way out post. And they're off. And number 10, It's Me, Mom, pulls out in front first. And is taken across and goes up in front and first, and all the horses are behind. And he starts mentioning all the other horses, who's second and third and fourth. And It's Me, Mom takes a commanding 3-length lead, which now a length means the length of a horse,
right?
Is how far. And It's Me, Mom, it's 3 lengths. So as it's going around the track more, It's Me, Mom is pulling away by 5 lengths. It's Me, Mom is now 7 lengths ahead of the other horses. And the other horses are fronting like they're dogs. And It's Me, Mom is going into the stretch 10 lengths ahead. And It's Me, Mom pulls in front, crosses the finish line by 13 lengths.
Wow.
By 13 in such a short race. You never hear that. Never hear. And it crossed the finish line by itself. And I won a couple $100 and it wasn't even about the money. It wasn't about the money. It was just so exciting that her daughter was there the entire time.
That's a beautiful story.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And so that story's in this book.
Right. Okay.
But like I said, the story is talking about, this book is talking about, like I said, about spirituality. It talks about saints. It talks about angels and stuff. But oh my God, what an exciting day that was. The single, up to date, the most spiritual experience ever.
I love that story. So that's in that book. So tell me what led you to later do Have Your Angels, which I love the title. Yeah. Have Your Angels Call My Angels. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what prompted me to create that title. I think I was talking with a friend on the phone and he says, all right, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, have your people call my people.
Right.
Because I was in the process of writing the book.
Right.
And I said, oh, maybe that's what I'll call it. Have your angels call my angels.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So it was great, So anyway, my friend Valentina said, Art, more of your listeners want more of this book. They want more. She goes, you need to write a second book. I'll help you if you need my help. with writing the book or creating the book. And she was like a cavalier for me writing that book. And so I wrote the second book because it's more on what the first book is about,
Right.
but just more stories and, more expressions of the soul. And I wrote some beautiful spiritual poetry
Oh, okay.
in there, and everything was channeled. Everything was channeled what I wrote in there. So when I wrote these books, I knew what topics I wanted to talk about. So what I would do is I would write the title of the chapter and I would just put it to the side. And then when I came up with new chapters to write about, I would just put them all together. And then when I was ready to actually write the book, all I had to do was look at the title and I just started writing because I wrote according to the title. I just
Right.
wrote exactly what I wanted to talk about and it just came right out. And that's how I wrote those 2 books.
That's great. And you have a third one coming out?
And I'm in the
yeah.
process of writing a third book.
It has a great title as well.
Yeah. But before I tell you that, so before I tell you the title, so because I've had so many testimonials, this book is about people of what I've said to other people, true
Okay.
stories and testimonies of what I said to other people. And it's also a bunch of posts that I've written up that I sent to
Yes,
people.
I see many of them on social media.
Yeah, with the spiritual posts that I write.
Yeah.
And so between the spiritual post and between the whatchamacallit, the spiritual post and the testimonials, the name of the book is called Was It Something I Said?
I love it. That's funny.
So
I love how you bring humor into all this all the
Yeah.
time. Even when you do your readings, which we'll see in later episodes, you always try to bring in the humor.
Humor,
Yeah.
always. To me, let me tell you something. Humor is definitely what has gotten me through life. And a lot of people say, hey, listen, if you don't have a sense of humor, the drama's going to kill you. You need to have humor to help you deal with things. And that's how I grew up in my nice Jewish family.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So, but you need to have a sense of humor, and my whole family is, pretty funny in their own way. And, but the person who I find the funniest was my Uncle Louis. I always wanted to be like him growing up. And my cousin Linda said, Arthur from Boston, you're just like Uncle Louis. You're always with these funny stories and everything. And my Uncle Louis was the funniest guy you'd ever want to meet. And he could tell the same stories over and over again.
And they're still funny.
And they're still funny because of the way he says it.
Yeah.
I
get it.
his timing and his character and you could picture, like when I was telling you the story, you could picture us. You could picture the story as I was telling, and that was the way my Uncle Louis was. And so, whenever, even when I'm not reading or performing in front of an audience,
you bring the humor in.
it was all
Yeah.
about having fun with people.
Yeah.
And
I hear you.
When I was in my 30s, I tried to be just a stand-up comic.
Oh, okay.
For a couple of years, I tried it. I went to New York City, and I would go to open mic nights, and I would try and it's much more difficult.
It's one of the most difficult
entertainments to do is stand-up comedy.
1,000%.
So I found it too difficult, and so I stopped for a while, and then that's when. But that was good that I did that experience because it got me used to in front of an audience and speaking. And when I went and got involved in the spirituality aspect of it, my comedic side came up. So as you saw,
because it's natural for you,
right? So as you saw when I was doing readings, and humor comes out, funny
Always,
stories.
yeah.
So you find something funny and humorous in what it is that I do, and I tell the stories and I tell the jokes and stuff like that. So it's really, I just have fun with it all. I really do, and but. When it comes to certain topics, I can be many times very serious person.
Yeah.
Because when it calls for it, but on the most part, I do try to stay inspirational.
Which you are.
And try to keep it humorous.
Which you are.
Thank you. Which allows me to do what I do. It's what I do, baby. So it's really cool. And like I said, I enjoy it. I enjoy it on so many levels. And yeah, so within my book, I'm not as humorous in my book, to be honest with you. I think my third book, you're gonna find more humor, but this has to do with getting to the point of real life messages.
Right. I understand that. And I see that in your social media. I know you have an Instagram account, you have a Facebook account, and you also do readings. I believe it's once the first Sunday of every month, I believe, that you do like live readings on Facebook. Is that correct?
I do that the first Monday. I switch it over.
Oh, Monday. I'm so sorry.
No, I used to do it on Sundays. And I switched it from Sundays to Mondays.
Okay.
And I do it once, the first month, the first Monday of every month. And
you have a lot of viewers. I mean, that's impressive.
Thank
you have over 100 people viewing it simultaneously for a live.
Yeah,
that's a lot. So you get a lot of attention, and you're basically you're giving away your talent. You're doing the readings for people.
I do it 1 hour for free.
Right.
I do it
see
1
that.
hour for free.
Yeah, people ask you questions and you zero in. I don't even know how you do that.
I don't even know how I do it. It just happens. It just happens.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's funny, this one girl, so people, while I'm doing my Facebook live show, people type in their questions or and I said, you gotta keep your questions very detailed. Don't say, Artie, what do you see for me in the future? I can't answer that.
Right.
But I said, you got to be detailed. Ask me a specific question. I'll give you a specific answer. And if you want me to connect to a loved one,
which a lot of them do. And on the live, a lot of them are trying to connect to loved ones who have passed on. That's right. I've seen that.
So they give me their name of the person they want to talk to, how they're related. And if it's a child, I want to know how old they were. Because I want to know the reference of the messages I'm getting. Well, am I talking to a 5-year-old? Am I talking to a 25-year-old? Or whatever.
Right, of course.
So, so when I do that on my Facebook Live, it's called Angels and Answers, Artie Hoffman's Angels and Answers.
You have to get on that, guys. It's a great 1 hour of entertainment.
It is. And then people, I love it when this one girl texted me. She says, Artie, do you see me getting pregnant soon? And I said, yeah. I said, when you get off my Facebook Live show and get in the bedroom, I said, your odds are going to go way up.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And I think that's our cue, right? Is it? Thank you so much, Artie. It's so
it was
insightful.
My pleasure, as always.
Soul to soul with you is an absolute pleasure.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're the best.
Oh, stop. It's you.
You're the best.
All right. Ciao for now, guys.
Take care. Mwah.
Soul to soul, feel the rhythm flow. Heart wide open, let your spirit glow. With Artie Hoffman, now you know. Soul to soul, let's go.